Hi everyone! In this video I want to talk about my latest illustrated book. The book is now officially available for sale and I want to show you in this video how we worked on it, what it is about and why it's a great publication to check out. Also, if you want to see some background of working on a book as an illustrator, seeing how concepts take form of rough sketches to later on become a fully illustrated book pages, stay with me. You've been asking me a lot about when the handbook is going on sale, where you can get it, so I will leave all the links below. If you get it and I truly think it's worth it, let me know how you like it. The Wild World Handbook is aimed at young readers, but I have to tell you I learned a lot while illustrating the text, beautifully written by Andrea Debbink. If you've been following me for a while, you know that my work is mostly oriented on nature, creating colorful scenes full of flora and fauna, and environmental awareness. To create the handbook, I worked closely with an amazing graphic designer at QuirkBooks, her name is Elisa, to prepare a series of illustrations for every chapter. The handbook is formed of 9 of them, each one telling fascinating stories about a different habitat. You will see that each chapter has a fully illustrated opening depicting the corresponding habitat. Our goal here was to show the most characteristic features, plants and animals that live there. One of my favorite scenes is the polar land. So the first thing you want to receive when working on illustrating a book is a brief. That was also the case here, and I also had a pleasure of getting familiar with Andrea's text, which made all the process of illustrating the book so much more interesting, and I was also learning a lot while making the illustrations. I already mentioned it a couple of times, so some of you might know it, but I rarely, if ever, use pure black color in my work. So even the first initial sketches I created using a dark shade of blue. I feel it looks nicer to the eye, and this is just how I like to work. It's not really of importance, but you always ask me a lot of questions about my sketching process and first steps when creating illustrations. And I can tell you that my absolute favorite brushes for sketches ever are from my sketch toolkit for Procreate. I created them to fit my style and the way I like to work and feel most comfortable with. Every single sketch I show to my clients in general is made using precisely these brushes, as they give a really natural effect of a traditional soft brush. Rather than focusing on details in my first rough sketches, I prefer to transmit the general atmosphere, show the composition, and what I think is very important, transmit a story. This was also the case when we were working on the handbook. You can see that the general idea between the sketch and the finished illustration remain the same, but with the color comes more precision. I also like to work on the final touches on the final piece, as I feel those small elements can add a lot of mood to the whole scene. You can see that some sketches are more precise and some more rough, but at all times they show pretty well the intention and focus of each illustration. For me, the best thing about working as an illustrator is that no two projects are alike. Every project has different specifications, focus and demands, and that's why our job is never ever boring and the creative energy flows all the time, fueling the process of every illustration. So let's look at the cover. The book cover is an essential part of it, and so it was very important for us to create a great illustration representing what the handbook is about. I started working on the cover proposing a couple of ideas and concepts, out of which we decided to go with a map showing all the habitats together as a unified little world in which each of us can play a very important role. There is a space for us all, people and animals together. The handbook cover illustration went through some changes and tweaks to achieve harmony between my illustration and the lettering. This is super important when working with titles, to work closely with the designer. In this case, we built together a cover that will really make you want to reach for the book. We are super happy with how the cover turned out. You can tell that I had a lot of fun playing and creating all the little characters, kids and animals living together. I really enjoyed building, unraveling and overlapping elements for this cover in a way that each habitat seamlessly flows into another. It was a really enjoyable challenge to represent each of the habitats with just a few elements and play with them to create a coherent scene. I think the cover tells a lot about the book and just makes you want to open it and dive into it. When it comes to a more technical side of working on the handbook, I worked in Procreate at high resolution, at the specified size by the publishing house, and in this case in 400 dpi. Any post-production or edition I made in Photoshop. My favorite part of working on the handbook was bringing the illustrations to life with colors. For coloring, details and textures, the brushes I use on a regular basis and also use them here in the book come from my set called Artist Pack. I will leave the link to them below in case you're interested and want to check them out. When creating and working on more detailed scenes, I connected my iPad to my monitor to have a bigger and a better image. At the end of the day, every project is different. I want to share a bit of what's behind this book and making it, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and I see you in the next video.